of course, I mean, it goes beyond saying when I asking you, who do you think? But I know you support Atiku Abubakar. But if you go by what Deji and Deola, and in fact, those who say, oh, experience of corruption, there's none of these people who are supposed to be on the ballot and all of that. Let me get your view on that. Anthony, please, could you unmute? Yeah.
I've unmuted my mic.
Good.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I slightly disagree on some of the criteria some people have stated. I sort of agree with FS Yusuf, who says Nigeria is in a critical condition, and when you take anyone in a critical condition to the hospital, you don't find the most brilliant surgeon, you find the most experienced surgeon, because that experience counts when the situation requires that level of experience. I say this because we have sort of a historical replica that happens in cycles in Nigeria. I don't know why this happens, but if you take a cursory look from probably 1960 to date, you find that almost the same thing keeps happening. What I see now, with almost everybody spoken, has been very emotive and very passionate, if I may add, desires for a true country that they want to see. But beyond that, there's a question we must ask. Why is Nigeria where she is today? What had happened in the past? How do we move forward? If you take a historical look, and we're going to put a little bit of economic context into this. In 1998, when Nigeria was just about to hand over power to the PDP, then Obasanjo Atiku government, our GDP growth between 97 to 98 was 0.5%. Between 1999 and 2000, when we had new people at the saddle of government, as Atiku heading the economic team of Obasanjo government, we made a growth progress of 5.2%, if I'm not off mark. They're about 5.2% of our GDP. By 2000, we had done, that's 2000, we had done 5.3. By 2001, we had done 5.9. These facts are on Google. Just Google Nigerian GDP growth. By 2002, our GDP made an astronomical, and I'm really interested in finding out why, what led or occasioned that astronomical growth of 15%. It dropped in 2003 back to an average of 7%. Now, if you put this against 2015, where we handed over, the PDP was handing over to the APC, growth started declining. And thus far, since 2015 to 2022 in perspective, we've not been able to grow beyond 3% GDP growth. Now, I'm taking this back to where Nigeria is today. If you look at that GDP growth between 1999 and 2007, you'll see a middle class growth. This is what a country that has just freed itself from military rule, that has put us in, as of that time, in the Committee of Nations, Nigeria was nowhere. So there was a huge effort to put us back in the Committee of Nations. As of 2015, when the PDP was handing over government to the APC, Nigeria was one of the fastest growing economies. And that's because we did a lot of capitalization and liberalization. I honestly believe that restructuring and devolution of powers had been going on within our constitutional review, and of course the National Assembly, in carrying out its functions of legislation, had gone down that path of devolving powers and unbundling our constitution. Our constitution, some people will agree, is a problem. But you also need to have political depth. You have to have political cast and spread within your political party to be able to move the needle, to change critical things that affect the overall output we see as a country functioning. So if you see chaos in the country, it's because someone has been unable to match with political will and the influence they have in the
But Anthony, I mean, Anthony, the one of the issues raised by Deji, and I'd like you to quickly talk about it. He said, we do not need people who are been in government before. Do you agree with him? And I mean,
so that Deji is an activist. He's not pragmatic. In you know,
so you're
growing
not
up,
pragmatic,
we used to
Deji.
watch yes, Mr. Prime Minister, yes, Mr. Minister, and you would find that it was a satire, but it explained that what people ordinarily want government to do and what government can achieve within the framework of governance. You are bound as a government by the laws that were created before you, and you will see that government have to, even to make policy changes, you have to go to the National Assembly to get it done. That's where politics comes in. That's where anybody who wants to be president, who doesn't have members of the National Assembly, and he's telling you he's going to build a phantasmagoric Nigeria for you, is only daydreaming. So we have to wake up, come back to reality, and face the politics that we have. We have a 23-year-old political system. It's not going to change overnight. That's what we expected to get in 2015. And that's why we ended up where we are, regressing backwards. We need to find people who understand building of institutions, who understand that the economics of governance. You cannot even become president and that's why we have the 24%. That's why we have that rule that says you must have a spread across the country. So when you take, unfortunately, like my brother FS Super and all the other hope Deji would hope to bring in, that cannot, if you become president today, how are you going to get the whole country, whip them into line, get the members of the National Assembly to make laws that will favor you? So we must be practical and realistic and say we need to pick a man who has, at a time Nigeria was somewhere similar to this. We were a pariah nation, our economy was in shambles, we were owing the Paris. Don't forget that this government when it came in, that's the government of Atiku. When they came in 1999 to 2000, they got Nigeria debt relieved using people that they brought in, people like Okonjo Iweala that they introduced into government. They were able to get debt relief for Nigeria. They were able to start savings.
So if Anthony, before I bring our into the conversation, if Atiku Abubakar is not on the ballot and you have to pick between Bola Tinubu and Peter Obi, who would you pick?
I'd definitely be looking at Peter Obi. I'll definitely be looking at Peter Obi.
Why?
Second choice. But he'll be able to do the job. I sincerely doubt.
Okay.
I've said to people that
right.
you need on-the-job experience, or you must have been someone who has understood the complexity of Nigeria for you to lead this country.